What is up, guys? It's Mason once again, and today I'm bringing you a game from the first Malongy Online Rapid Invitational Chess Tournament, which was organized by FM elect George Lomari, the founder or the head of the Malongy brand. This tournament has been going on from the 28th of June to the 5th of July, which is actually today. We'll be posting this video on the 26th tomorrow, as per our schedule. So the game I'm bringing you is from the quarterfinals. It's a match between Aikhoje, Odion, and Freedom Master Osunfuyi, Abimbola. From the article I read concerning this, of course, if you want to check more on this, you should check out Africa Chess Media. They have articles on each round and some highlighted games that you can check out. So from what I read from the article, in this round, Abimbola is actually down 2 points. I don't know if it's a best of 5 or something like that, but if he were to lose this game, he packs his bags and stays home. Of course, it's an online tournament. And Aikhoje Odion cruises to the next stage, which is the semi-finals, which is being played today. I don't know if it's right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna step right into the analysis. Let's get on with this. We have knight f3, knight f6, d4, d5, bishop f4, d5, e3, knight c6, c3, e6. I'm skipping through these because there's not much I can talk about here, since I've talked about this positions many times in my streams. Knight b to d2, bishop to d6, bishop to g3, castles kingside, bishop to d3, and b6. Okay, so now we have the London system. After all the hullabaloo and the strange movements, we get to this position and we can see it's reminiscent of the London system. So now what do we do here as white? Now there are many options. You can play the standard idea of knight to e5. You can castle, or you can play my personal favorite idea, especially when my opponent plays b6, e4. Now with this move, you are already creating a deadly threat, because if your opponent does not deal with this threat in a specific way or in certain ways, he's losing a piece. Let's say he plays without thinking, this is already winning. Of course, your opponent will not play that. So what's the real reason why we are playing this? It's not because we are waiting for our opponent to blunder. It's because we are trying to force trades on the e4 square. So after d takes e5, e4, knight takes e4, this trade is sort of forced. Of course, you can play bishop takes here. It's not that bad. But then usually in this position, I play the London system and I really face this a lot more. Knight takes e4 and then bishop takes e4. So what do we have here? So now after bishop to b7 here, we realize that white has control of the diagonal. In this whole system, white has control of the diagonal. Black can't find it easy to move his knight anywhere, because he either drops a bishop or something. So maybe I think the idea here for white might be castle, knight ce5, and then take c5. This is a very good position for white to play. It's something I've seen most of the time. Okay, so let's go to what was actually played, which was knight to e5. Now I don't like this move. I prefer this move, especially after let's say after this move your opponent doesn't really want to play c5 here and he plays something like queen to e7. The reason why I prefer to play knight e5 here is because we have this very nice trick, which I'm just going to show you. Sometimes even grandmasters are falling for this. I'm yet to actually get an opponent to fall for this, because I don't really get this structure. But the point of this is that we want to get the queen here to c5, because we have a Greek gift tactic with bishop takes h7, and if king takes h7, we have queen to h5, king goes back, and now knight to e4, attacking the queen. And also if the pawn tries to take the knight, we win the queen. And this position is actually quite good for white. As you can see, the evaluation is very good for white. But so that's one of the reasons why I would play it. But with b6, you actually, with b6 being played, you actually can get so many trades on this e5 square and almost enter into an end game where maybe black might be better, I think, if I remember very well. So yeah, that's why I prefer e4 to knight to e5. Though this is a standard idea in the landing system. You get your knight here, you can try and bring your queen or your rook into this h3 square or this h file and put more pressure on this h7 pawn. Okay, so now we have bishop to b6. Now it's not as playable to play e4 now because you just lose a piece. I learned my lesson when I played against Dekondo Simplice, I think, in the President's Cup. Yeah, I made a mistake with this same idea. Okay, so now we have f4 standard, knight to e7, queen to f3, knight to f5, just blocking the normal idea of putting pressure on this h7 square. Now what I don't like about what Odion played here, which is bishop takes f5, is because take a look at the position. Yes, we can say this position is closed, so it makes sense that he traced bishops for knights. But here, this bishop is like he has only two active pieces in his gameplay, which is the bishop on d3 and the knight on e5. So I think trading them off is a very bad idea. I mean, with knight here, even if you decide to take this bishop, it's actually to the good of white, because white's dark squared bishop is actually quite bad. So I really don't think that taking might have been a very rushed move. Maybe he's afraid of this weakness. He doesn't want to be tied to the defense of this pawn. I can't really tell. But my preference would basically be something like bishop to f2 and maybe queen to c5 or queen to c7 or queen to e7. Then you get this g4 move, which I believe is actually quite good for white. I think there are better ways for black to refute this, but I'm just giving you the idea that I think white should have gone for. Okay, so now we have bishop takes f5, e takes f5, bishop to h4. Basically, he's trying to trade off his bad bishop since it's not doing much for his opponent's knight, and I think it still follows that close positional advantage that knights are better in close games than bishops. But I doubt that idea works here. Okay, so bishop back, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, and we have knight to b3. Now what's going to happen here is a series of maneuvers to create something. Right now there's nothing going on in the game. All we can say is that black might be better, slightly better. Black might be slightly better here, but I don't like white's formation, how white's pawns are so weak, how the coordination seems bad. He's still not castled. Bishop to h4, which is a very good move if you look at it in this way. The point is, now let's look at the weaknesses in white's camp. Realize that all his pawns are on dark squares, so his light squares are weak, and now he has traded off his light squared bishop, making it difficult or harder for him to control these light squares. So by playing bishop to h4 check, you force this move. Of course, if you don't play this move, you give your opponent a chance to enter or to create funny threats. So with this check, you play I'm sure he doesn't want to move because he wants to castle, keep castling as well. So with g3, what happens is that now it's more, these weaknesses are more pronounced, and you can see if this pawn ever gets out of this position, which it will, this light squared bishop becomes very much alive. So after this, he then plays bishop to e7. We have queen to f2. Now we're going for the maneuvering. Rook to e8, castles king side, a5, gaining space on the queen side, a4, stopping any advance, queen to d6, maybe aiming for trading. Maybe he would like to trade the c4 for the d pawn and get some activity on the queen side. Rook to d4, in case there are any trades. His idea is that now I get my rook is on the open file and I can actually attack this queen. And then queen to e4, e6. So this makes me think that whole idea was just to taunt his opponent to play this move rather than something more developmental or more active, because it moves this rook being on, okay, I thought the rook was on e1, but then yeah. So we have knight to d2, f6, attacking the knight e to f3, bishop to d6. Now opening the threat of taking this pawn, because now the rook and the queen are connected. rook to e1. Basically now what's happening is that he's defending his weakness. In white's position, the only weakness is this e3 pawn. That is the only weakness. That is why black continuously attacks this weakness. Bishop to c6. Now of course he could immediately just play rook e7 and then rook a8 to e8. He could easily play that move, but then this move I like because in view of the trades that are going to occur here, this pawn will be hanging. So it activates the bishop and makes it a little bit more active where it is. That is why I like this move. I like the foresight of it. Queen to g2. I do not like the moves that follow at this point because now this is where white's weakness is. This is where white's weakness is. So I feel maybe he should try and defend those weaknesses. I mean, of course, maybe he fears this square. I get it. So you can play maybe b3, rook to e2, and then rook a1 to e1. And I think that makes a lot of sense, keeping the defense here because you need defenders of this square. But then maybe that'll be too slow. But then he moves his queen away, and after rook to a7, he plays knight to h4, which I don't understand because I feel like the action is occurring at this side of the board. I'm sorry, again, let me explain. My right mouse button is not working, so I'm trying my best to just use the mouse to show the lines I'm trying to. I'll get a new mouse and I can now draw lines. Okay, so we have, so I believe that this is where the action is, and him moving his pieces doesn't seem to make sense for me. He could be underestimating the whole idea with the queen taking. I think he thinks that his position will be fine with the trade of queens. I mean the queen for 2 rays. I think he thinks his position will be fine. So he underestimated the attack of his opponent. Okay. So now we have rook a to e8, rook a to e7, sorry, rook a to e7. Now putting more pressure on the e3 pawn. Queen to f3, defending the pawn. And now we have c takes d4. Now you see the pawn tension. It was hard for black to release the pawn tension because if he releases the pawn tension, it becomes very hard to release his bishop. This bishop becomes sort of stuck, or this pawn becomes isolated basically, and I think black will have some attacks on white will have some ways or means of attacking it. But when you look at it now, it makes a lot of sense because your opponent definitely won't try to capture this way, and if he captures this way, he has ways and means of invading as well. So I think his idea is that, okay, he knows that white's weakness is e3 and he wants to cure that weakness, but he feels that by taking, he has a threat on my queen. So he follows his plan. He takes, and now we have queen takes e1. The main reason I am analyzing this game, exchanging the queen for 2 rooks. I haven't been able to play positions like this, even though I've had the opportunity, because I find it a little bit difficult. But it's considered that when the 2 rooks are coordinated, they are better than the queen. Rook takes and then rook takes e1. King to f2. Now we'll get into some engine lines which are very confusing. I might not even try to explain them, but of course they are self-explanatory in a way. So now the point is, he attacks the rook in case he ever tries to move the rook away, or basically he's just getting out of the check. That's one of the reasons. And also I think he's trying to prevent something like this from happening. Okay, so you might think that, okay, I said the pawn is hanging so you can take it now. No, it doesn't work because of this move. Actually now the position is equal. His advantage has dwindled away. So taking the pawn right now does not make sense. So good insight by him to know that, okay, though this pawn is hanging, I can't take it. The better move here is to play g6. And what happens here now? Look at this. It's a close position, but yet the knights have no way of doing anything reasonable in the position. They have no good outposts to be in, and the activity goes into the bishops. What I'll say. And imagine if he had his light squared bishop still in this position. He has potential, but now he doesn't have those things, and you realize that now, okay, things are very bad. Yeah, but then it's not okay. If you want to take it from an engine perspective, it's not as bad. If we see here, it's not as bad, but then it is an advantage. This is a very strong positional advantage, and with the right type of play, I think this is winning. Okay, so we have bishop to we have b3 defending the a4 pawn, rook to c3 attacking the weaknesses, queen to d3 maybe trying to maneuver his queen into the position, maybe to a6 and try and come towards the king side. I have I'm not really so sure about that, or maybe he's planning to sacrifice his knight this square, maybe. And now we have rook to b8. Now I feel rook to b8 is a little bit too rushed because of that knight move I was talking about. Better would be king to g7. And as you see, I'll show the lines. Let me try and get the lines for you. Rook to b8. I think the move here is knight takes. And if the opponent captures, actually I think there are a lot of, okay, we have these check moves, and with these checks you can be taking away these bishops, or you can just be continuously checking your opponent to go for a draw. So I think this position would be drawn. And also if your opponent decides not to take, I think not taking is the best way. This is the engine line that it brings about, if I'm right. Yeah, these are the lines, I guess. Yeah, so is that, yeah, so these are the lines that the engine brings about. And I think after this you realize that, okay, white still has some saving grace. Now his position is a little bit better now than the way it was completely losing. The rooks are now uncoordinated. It's going to be hard to free this rook from the position. You have to force breaks to win the position. So yeah, that's basically what we got. That's what I understood from the position here. And now with the king to g2 move, what happens here is, okay, there was a line I missed with the, I want to try and get that line for you. I don't want to mess that up. Okay, so I think it's knight here, bishop here, and then this. Is it this? No, you block with this pawn move, and I think after takes, then you jump in here. I think this is the idea I'm talking about. This is the main idea why that knight move will make sense if you don't play king to g7 because of this fork. If king was on g7, that this move doesn't make any sense because now you can run away with your bishop. Okay, it's good. I got the line. I was really struggling with the lines because there were a lot. Okay, and there are some other lines. I don't know if I can go through them. I might have to skip them. Happening. Okay, let me just go from here. Sorry about that. Okay, great. And now we get here. Okay, so now he plays knight h to f3. Actually, what the engine preferred was I think it was, yes, knight d to f3, then b5, which is the intention of your opponent. Knight captures, the same idea. Queen takes, the same idea that we even discussed previously, because after takes here, you realize that now the position is even and possibly even drawn. So these are some of the ideas that could have gone on. I'm skipping through this because the explanation is quite hard for me. Okay, so now this is what Aikhoje played, and now we have b5, takes, and c4, bishop to a6, queen to e3, king to f7, and the missed move by white here. I would like you to find this move. This move helps white draw. Only problem is I don't think I analyzed this deeply, but I'll just show you the move and you can do the research on your own. So find the move that helps white draw here. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, so the move here is knight to e5 check. We have f takes e5, and then d takes e5 is considered better than f takes. So now with this, I think I analyzed bishop takes, queen takes, and the analysis here says 1.5 or 3 point something. I don't see how. That's why I was like, I didn't develop the theory too much because there were so many lines I could have looked at. Yeah. Okay, so we have this variation basically, but we didn't get this in the actual game. So after king to g, so after king to f7, Aikhoje played king to g2, which now makes his position completely bad because after rook here, it shows he had the idea of knight to e5 check, but now it doesn't work because of the extra defense of the rook, because now even if you try taking the pawn, the queen is hanging. But Aikhoje doesn't give up. He still tries. Queen to h6, king to g8, knight to f3, rook to c2, king h3, d takes c4, queen to e3, c3, g4, bishop f1. Now the bishop is free. Bishop to f1 check, king to h4, bishop to e7, check, g5 blocking, rook to g2, h3, and then h6. A beautiful way to end the game and a wonderful way to end the game, especially down, trading down the queen for 2 rooks. I really like this game. It's a landing structure game, so of course I would definitely like it. I'm sorry I didn't go too deeply into the lines. I was actually struggling. My head was aching me. Like I said, I discovered this game I think a day or 2 days ago, and I've been on it for over 14 hours. There are other games that are coming out that we have to cover, and I also said like I have to analyze a game from the HBY20, a game from Bar4 in particular. I'm looking for whether I get a win or a loss, or a game that's entertaining enough to just show his strategic prowess, basically. So you know why we talk about him a lot. And I also get a game from Japan as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, I would really enjoy your comments, because I know for me, I'm not that skilled to see everything. So sometimes I do them by engine, sometimes I do them by what I have learned. So by your comments making me aware of certain tactics, like, oh, you missed this, oh, this is why this is done, it helps me improve and gives you better analysis videos, and also helps us improve, because the aim of this channel is not just to raise the awareness of chess in like Africa to the world. We're just trying to portray Africa to the world, but then we're trying to train anyone who is interested in chess. So there are so many things we are planning on doing. So I'd really like to hear your comments. That's more and more interesting. I want to know what you think about what we are doing, how you think we should run our programs, what you think would interest you, or what you think would interest people, so that we can work on this together. There are so many tournaments that we are going to try and review. I think there's a Kenyan tournament coming out. We'll be having a tournament on Tuesday. Not just Ghana, but I think 8 different countries are having an arena. So it's going to be very exciting. So many things we want to do. So yeah, as always, I have been Mason. Check out our streams as always, Mondays and Wednesdays on Twitch solely at 10 o'clock GMT, and Saturdays on both YouTube and Twitch at 12 o'clock or 12:30 PM GMT. We'd love to hear from you, we'd love to see you, and yeah, we can even play some games together. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I have been Mason. If you want to know my rating, go figure. And I will see you all in the next video. Wow, bye.